Welcome to VAFA Tragics. We have a huge show planned, but a huge inclusion this week. Please join me in welcoming our very own hostess with the mostess, Andrew Leonard.
Off to a horrible start, hostess with the mostess. Well, thank you, Nick, and hello, Brenton.
Hello, Andrew.
Great to be back. Down this end of the panel, which I see is probably a sign of things to come for those VAFA players, and this is going to be the tragic take first of all. So let's just camera on me, please. Tragic take. Forget about these guys. Going to open up with the tragic take. I've been watching from afar, and here's a couple of just fires I'm going to throw down the barrel here. First of all, obviously, when you go away on holiday to Europe mid-season like I did, you expect to be, maybe not playing in your starting position, and that's going to happen to you if you're a VAFA player out there and you're taking that 3-week extended break through the middle of the year off to Europe on your Contiki tour. So just be mindful of that, because that's where I am on the end of the bench here. Don't know how long this will last, but I'm sure I'll be back in the #1 spot soon. Now, I did manage to catch up Brenty's Lenny watch, and thank you for the love that you were sharing, Brenty. But just had a little look through your Instagram profile, at Brenty Man, if for those of you that want to follow him and give him a bit of love, he needs it, with the number of followers that he's got. But if you just take a look here, now look, I might have only posted once or twice with my beautiful wife in the photos, and look, we all love our children as well, and one of the great things about my holiday was that I was children free. But Brenty, no one loves their child like you do, young Eden Rose. No less than 9 photos in a row between January 29 and the 24th of March of Eden just featuring there. Get it together, son. Get it together. give us something else on Instagram, because it's rather boring. Now, for those that don't know how we operate here at Tragics, what we have is a pre-recorded show that gets shown during the week, and Nick, you did an adequate job whilst I was away. But for those that haven't seen how Nick went, have a look at some of his finer work.
Thank you for joining us. Now,
Competitive balance.
thank you for joining us. Now, competitive balance is a key. Promise is the last one. For watching. Stay tuned for the tragic take this week as we take you. No, I've lost it. I've had enough. Tonight. We all know that VAFA is a family-friendly competition, and we all love seeing our players' partners, grandparents and children coming down for a friendly game of VAFA football. But what is better than seeing the children on the ground having a kick of footy after the game? Even these guys.
Do you want us to get out of here?
Nah, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
So there you have it, folks. That's my tragic take on the week. Let's get things back to normal. We'll take a break and be back with more tragics right after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Just like that, business is resumed as normal. Back to the right-hand side of that. So I think this works better for me. I get the better side of my face when we're on the wider shot, boys. It's been a huge couple of weeks in the world of tragics. I caught some of your shows from France, although I wasn't looking at all of them, I've got to say. But good to see Marty back on the panel.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I think you enjoyed being back too, Marty.
Yeah. And the player introductions as well. I noticed we haven't got a player tonight because obviously the star power of myself back on the panel didn't require it.
No. You're a former player, though.
Former player.
Yeah.
Very amateurish former player. Yeah. On to the plays of the week. Let's get straight into it. Nick, kick us off with the plays of the week.
Thank you, Andrew. I'll go to the Defina twins from Old Camberwell in Development Division 2 of VAFA Women's. The Welsh trailed by 7 points at half-time, and up came the Defina twins. Eloise kicked 2 crucial goals after kicking 6 2 weeks ago, mind you, and Stephanie, who was second best, has been in the best every week, really stood up, and the Wellers got up by 7 points in VAFA Women's.
Brenton, who have you got for us in the plays of the week?
Got a collective plays of the week. The VAFA sharpshooters. We've got 3 on the Metro Football top 5 leading goal kickers in AFL Victoria. We've got Manny Dolan for St Mary's on 32, Jake Munro from Richmond Central on 31, and Liam Whelan from Aquinas on 30. They are flying in front of the sticks.
On to William Buck Premier, and gee, hasn't things been shaken up in William Buck Premier since I've left? St Kevin's and Collegians went on their merry way, and they've met on Saturday night under lights, and what a turn up with the way Collegians just dismantled a Scob side that had been raging favourites prior to that.
Absolutely, and now Collegians take favouritism.
Yes, we spoke about it last week, didn't we?
Right. Yep. Absolutely, they did. They were leading by 8 points at quarter time. And they kicked 7 unanswered in the second quarter, and that was what really got them going. Lockie Ferguson kicked 6, taking his season
Performance
tally.
player of the week, Lockie. That was mine. By the way.
They've gone
just forgot that.
Forgive me for these. He's still
Wasn't
rusty.
He's a bit rusty, isn't he?
Wasn't on the auto cue.
Alex Croft, as I was saying, he kicked 4, and he's providing great. He's in really good form at the moment. Alex Croft up forward. Kenny Young's been a superstar, and he started again on the weekend, and they were just unbelievable.
Now, we've spoken about this off air. Now, the game against Zavs the week prior, did they take it out of St Kevin's? I mean, it's not a 90-point. That's not an excuse for a 90-point thumping, but I'm not sure Shannon Grant isn't using that. But it has to have some effect on St Kevin's on the weekend.
No, most certainly. And as you said, it's not a 90-point thumping. No. And with the Zavs game, which we'll get to, it's not a 74-point thumping either. But it was a brutal clash the week before. Yep. And they had to get themselves up too. With obviously massive rivals, the two clubs, they got themselves up, I feel, for the round 5 clash, came out this week and just did not fire a shot.
Are the Lions firing all their shots too early? They've thrashed the Tees on their home deck by 90-odd points. They've beaten one of the raging favourites, St Kevin's, by 90 points. Are they showing their cards too soon?
I don't think so. This is the first top 4 side they've played, and they smacked them by 90 points. They're playing the best footy they've played since 2014, being runners-up in the grand final. You can only beat who's put in front of you. They're 6 and zip. I don't think they've fired all their shots though. I think they've got a little bit more to give.
Yeah, they're looking very good. Blues was a great result for them as well.
Again, Blues really stood up. They've been really inconsistent to start the year, but again, all their stars stood up. Timmy Geepin kicked 2, Kieran Harper, who is absolutely on fire at the moment since coming back from injury last year, and Dan Batteralo. Tommy Quinn came back, and we know that he's a massive a big V player, small forward, up forward, and they probably got Zavs, who were a bit sore from the week before. Nick Wynn missed after he was injured against St Kevin's. But Blues have now gone into 4th spot again. And, they were unbelievable.
A real battle now between who's going to make 4th. I think we feel, it's very early in the season, obviously, but we see often after this many rounds that the 4 is often done.
Yeah.
The top 3 probably are Zavs, St Kevin's and Collegians. Yep. Who's going to take 4th spot? Blues, Trinity, a D-Lug up to it, OM's up to it. Even some Beads Mentone Tigers who had a good win over D-Lug on the weekend. Are they potential 4th place finishes?
It's very hard to judge. I think all 4 or 5 of those sides have shown little bits and pieces during the year, but they're just so inconsistent at the moment. It's too hard to get a read on. I think it's very much up in the air. And this month of football, when you come into June, it gets a bit colder. The training gets the nights get a bit longer. It's going to be a very testing time for those 4 or 5.
Who's going to make the 4?
De La Salle.
Who's going to make the 4?
I'm going to go Blues.
I think it'll still be Trinity who'll sneak in there into 4th spot. Well, Blues, they come home strong at the end of the year. Uni sides are always so slow at the start.
When that Uni Oval gets a bit boggy too,
absolutely,
it can play a role.
Moving right along, big news. Seeing the VAFA quoted down in the Geelong Advertiser during the week, the general manager of AFL Barwon, Lee Hartman, has said that Geelong Footy League wants to have a crack at the VAFA in representative football. I think this is a great story to see, and one that I'm not sure how that match would be organised potentially. Is it any chance?
I'm not sure. Not in the immediate future, I wouldn't have thought. As Michael Sholly, VAFA CEO, came out last week and said, we do have bigger fish to fry right now because we do have AFL Vic Country on July 8. But how good would it be to finally decide, and from AFL Barwon, from the Geelong Footy League, it's a bit of a mark of respect too that they feel that that's the true battle for the number 1 competition.
The VAFA, of course, won the Metro Championships 2 years running with wins over the Eastern Footy League and the Northern Footy League in that competition. The Metro and Country Championships have now merged. The VAFA, of course, does have representative football matches this year, celebrating their 125th year up against AFL Vic Country. In all seriousness, though, I mean, the VAFA beats the Country on occasions. They lost to them last time by 10 goals a couple of years ago, but they have beaten them in the past, and if they can beat the best of the whole country of Victoria, come on, Geelong Football League.
They've got about 5 or 6 leagues down in that kind of area. He's got a fair pool to pull from, don't they, Geelong Football League?
Well, absolutely they do. But like Lenny said, if you're beating the best players from all these leagues, and I don't know if you necessarily have to play, but it would be nice to know, I guess.
That game, squad's being announced soon, I understand.
Yeah, first week of June, the squad will be announced.
You're gonna have a go at a squad and put one up online for the the punters to dissect, Nick.
Most certainly. I think we should start with the 3 shoe-ins at the moment, but you've got to put yourself out there a little bit and be willing to cop it if you get it wrong. But I reckon we've got 3 absolute shoo-ins right now.
Yep.
Right now from last year. I think Lockie Ferguson is number 1. Mark him down if they're willing to play, of course, if they are available to play.
And that's part of the problem. You've got to have the best players. And this happens for the country sides as well.
Yeah.
And all representative sides, you always find the best, some of the best players don't always get up for the games.
Yeah.
No, most certainly. I think Jason Tutt's my next one. Jason has been in sensational form, just come to De La Salle, midfielder, but can play half forward, which I think that's been the biggest issue over the past 3 senior matches we've played. We've only averaged 7.6 goals a game. So goal kicking has been a genuine issue in the past few years. So if we can rectify that, and then I've gone heart and soul, could go to either one. Tom Paul, I think, would be one. Jack Bull would be the other. Both of them, they live and breathe VAFA, and that's the type of player that you want in the rep side.
I've gone to Old Geelong. Jorge George Burberry. He's a shoe in the midfield. Class at half forward and in the midfield. Skipper?
I think he'd be
That's
skipper.
a big call, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be skipper.
Yeah, he's an absolute gun. Led Old Geelong to a flag last year. Played rep footy last year as well. And Anthony Ferrado, the D-La ruckman that is, I think, the best ruckman in Premier. VFL listed at Richmond. He gets the number 1 ruck spot. And I've gone a bit left field.
Another chance for Brenty to mention Richmond now.
Yeah,
You snuck that in somehow.
I was crying into my coffee,
Surprised.
tea on Sunday morning.
Surprised you didn't lose that note in the last minute of the show there.
I've gone left field. You said we need goals, don't we?
We need goals.
We're averaging, just over 7.5 goals a game over the last few rep games. Matty Boland, the returning gun down at Parkdale, he plays deep forward, kicks goals.
I completely agree with that. And all you need from a big forward, I think, in a senior rep game, is 4 marks, 4 kicks, 4 goals, and they've done their job. And then he's kicked over half than what we're averaging in the past 3 years anyway.
Plugger Lynch could be a sniff. He's in some ripping form for Scobs as well, and he's exactly that sort of player, and is no stranger to rep footy, of course, as well. We're going to keep moving. We'll take a quick break and be back with more Tragics right after this.
Hi, I'm Carly from Bulleen Templestowe Football Club. Make sure you tune in to VAFA Tragics to watch Bulleen dominate.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to the Tragics. It's great to be back in the chair, 6 rounds in. Great to see that the boys managed to hold the ship for a couple of weeks.
We weren't rudderless, were we?
No.
We had a couple of shaky moments, but we weren't rudderless.
Which you may have seen earlier.
Yeah, exactly right. Hope you're enjoying the show wherever you're watching. We're looking forward to your feedback as well. Make sure you get in touch with the VAFA via our Facebook page or via VAFA HQ on Twitter. And give us any suggestions you'd like to see on the show. Perhaps more of Brenty Mann's Instagram profile through the show. Some issues we want to talk about. Been a bit of a talking point in the AFL is jumper punches and how they all rate and how it affects players in the VAFA. Now, we all love a bit of aggression. That's why, it's a physical contact sport, and when you've got a chance to do a bit of intimidatory behaviour on your opponents, we all take the opportunity. But how do you see it, Brendan? Have you ever had or received a jumper punch at all?
Oh, I've received a couple over my time. Have never actually thrown one.
Did the player get suspended at all?
No, I didn't even get cited.
Okay.
Yes. But it's
What about one of the little ones low to the guts?
They're the ones that really frustrate me because you're actually wide open and the one with, actually, I'll go to the AFL on the weekend. Cunnington on Vince, that was a bit of a low act, I think. Vince was unaware that's going to happen. And when you get hit in the sternum, in that soul, and you drop you like third period French, and it takes you a bit of a time to get back and find your wares. And I don't like them. The jumper punch, they happen. I mean, I think it's more of a force thing with a jumper punch. You've seen a couple that don't really have much force behind, but then you can't just be punching blokes and then get off just because you've got a piece of material in your hand.
The players are doing just that. They're grabbing a piece of materials because they know they're going to get off.
Yeah. Exactly. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's actually ridiculous. Trent Cotchin getting off a couple of weeks ago is one of the most disgraceful things I reckon we've seen in terms of that was a pure strike. Nick, you caught up with Benny Goodman, the VAFA General Manager of Football and Umpiring, about exactly this topic, jumper punches. Here's what he had to say.
Well, to be very frank about it, to me, a punch is a punch. If the umpires see a punch, whether someone's got hold of a jumper or not, then that player should be reported. If we see on video reviews a player get punched, whether he's hanging on to a jumper or not, then he should be reported and let the tribunal determine, from their end and the evidence presented, whether he's guilty or not guilty of breaching the rules under striking somebody. And the excuse, if it's just a jumper punch, is just it's just a ridiculous excuse. You punch someone all night, you can still hurt someone, by punching them in the face, whether you got hold of piece of cloth or jumper or whatever it might be. So
Interesting comments there from Benny, and I think he's right. You know, you've got to have a steadfast approach to this and say, you know, if you're going to punch someone, it's a strike. The issue I've got with it, though, is unfortunately, because it is a strike and the VAFA have prescribed penalties, it's worth 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And not all jumper punches are equal.
No, they're not, as we just discussed.
Yeah.
Do you reckon 1 week? 1 week suffice? Would you say?
What?
Dependent.
Yeah.
On intent and impact.
Intent and impact as well. Injury to the.
Well, how hard
to the
can you
player.
punch someone? I'm just going to grab you.
go
How
ahead.
hard can you actually punch someone if I pull your jumper away? You know,
If you get you can get a bit of leverage on there, and we've seen a couple slip through as well. So, I guess as you said, intent and impact on the other player is something that will be taken into account.
it might raise a broader discussion on prescribed penalties, which I think it's worth pursuing and discussing in future VAFA Tragics episodes, because the problem with the prescribed penalty, if you don't take it and you go and contest it at the tribunal and you lose, which you might lose, you're going to get an extra week on top of that.
Right,
So it's not just the 2 weeks you're fighting. You're trying to, and there's no scope for you to say, let's get it to 2 down to 1, or reduce it down to 1. And you'll say prescribed penalty, they can take an early plea. I mean, we understand the reasons for it. You have to have prescribed penalties, and effectively the AFL does with the MRP as well. But you need them because of the administrative burden. If you had tribunals sitting every Tuesday night, and I know there already is a massive administrative burden to have tribunal, and all the tribunal members are volunteers. They give up their time to have those tribunal nights. But it's a real... I just think it's a bit harsh, some of the prescribed penalties and some of the levels of the prescribed penalties that currently exist.
Well, how would you rectify?
Well, I think it deserves probably. It's the common sense rule, really.
Yeah.
Not that the only problem with common sense is it's not all that common. But if we opened it up, maybe it's a survey on the VAFA website. Because I noticed if you have a look at this little grab here at the VAFA website, this survey's been up probably for about the first 6 weeks of the season, about pre-season training. Nick, about time we updated that one at all. What's your relationship with pre-season training?
I'm really looking for people's thoughts at the moment.
The man's come with all guns blazing tonight. We have been in the gun.
We're a feedback group. It's 360-degree feedback,
360
and we're happy to receive the feedback from
Might get leading
our
teams,
listeners and
leading
also
teams in during the week.
Yeah,
We're just having a little bit
absolutely.
of a session.
Moving on to showing all your cards in round 7. I think this is one you guys want to raise.
Yeah, most certainly. UHSVU and Powerhouse, who are both undefeated at the moment in Division 3, have the top of the table clash this weekend, and they are both 3 games ahead of the chasing pack. So I want to know, do you show all your cards? It's only round 7, but do you show all your cards knowing that you're probably meeting at least 3 times this year?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Meeting 3 times. I believe in the first one, you don't flirt with form. And I think just go all guns blazing and just try and get that mental edge over the other side.
So if Nick Nagel is 90% this week, hasn't been playing, do you play Nick Nagel as a goal kicking machine?
You're never going to be 100% during the season, so 90% is pretty good. So you're playing.
No, 90%'s a tick.
Yeah, it's a tick. That's a tick. That's a tick. 90%. Yep.
Play and win.
Play and win. I'm with Lenny here. I play and win. You don't flirt with form.
You're still not in finals. You still haven't guaranteed all of that sort of thing. Maybe round 15, round 14. Maybe you think about it.
Yep.
Resting guys that are a bit sore through those winter months, but no, you want to get the wins on the board at this stage of the year.
I understand that, but I think because it's 3 games, I just think it's that wide enough gap. They're far and away the 2 best sides in Division 3. It's enough of a gap after even 6 rounds to say, look, we don't want to give away too much. We'll try and win. No doubt we will try and win. We don't want to give away all of our secrets with the game plan and things like that, or risk a bloke who's 80%, we won't say 90%, for risk of further injury.
Yes.
So I think because they're that far ahead, you could possibly do it.
Let's take a look at the dissection now and move on to the fast questions. Nick, why don't you lead us off?
Andrew, mine's straight back to you. Is there any side likely to match Old Brighton or Old Scotch in 2017?
Of course there is. It's a silly question. We get these questions all the time of trying to find premiers at this time of the year. No, I think they're obviously both class sides, but St Bernard's are thereabouts. I still reckon Fitzroy on their day are good enough to challenge these 2 sides in particular, and possibly Ajax, and maybe that's about it.
I'm going to go to you, Nick. This is one of your favourites. I know you're brimming to answer this one. Is the mark of the year contest over at round 6?
Done. It is over, gentlemen. Chris Air Richards has flown on the weekend for St Beach, and you would have seen it. You would have seen it on the VAFA Facebook page or Instagram or website. We put it everywhere because it was just so good. I believe it is over. It will need to take a Will Tardif-esque type mark from a couple of years ago to beat that.
Triple somersault, pure.
It was high enough to just hit Lenny's 747 flying over the top when he was flying back into Melbourne.
It's not an Airbus, actually.
Sorry, Airbus. Sorry.
Should Powerhouse Brenton and UHS VU be frightened by Richmond Central's last couple of weeks?
I don't believe they should, because Nick just said that they're the form sides of the competition. They're far and away head and shoulders above the rest. Richmond Central, very nice to get 2 wins now after getting their first win in 628 days the week prior, but I don't think they've got anything to worry about with the Snakes.
Brenton?
Yes.
Shem Curry's goal, was it worth more than the 5,000 views it received on Facebook?
Oh, 5,000 is not bad, I don't think, but it's probably worth maybe 6 or 8, maybe 1,000 views. What do you think, Nick?
I think absolutely is. I'm not talking in terms of views, I'm talking in the 1 point win, but they played Old Geelong, who are a team at the lower end of the ladder of Premier C. Probably maybe one they might be fighting off towards the end of the year.
Yep.
So they've just got that 1 win over them now, the 1 point win. I think that's worth a lot.
The old 8-point game. Finally, is Paran Assumption 5-1 in a better place than West Brunswick, who are 6-0 despite being a game behind? I actually want to answer this one, but you guys have a go.
I think, Nick, you've got a very strong opinion on this.
It's an opinion nonetheless.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I think Paran Assumption, they are firing all cylinders. They had a loss earlier in the year, but right now, West Brunswick are getting it done. That's fantastic, but they're getting it done by a very small margin at the moment, a few by under a kick. So I think, despite being a game behind,
So you'd rather be Paran Assumption?
Yes.
West Brunswick, so you're ahead in the first innings of the test match on a turning deck. You've batted first, you're 50 runs ahead, and you'd rather be behind.
Most certainly.
It's crazy talk. crazy talk. I think that's it.
That's all we've got time for, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
It's been really good fun.
Been back.
Oh, now, did you bring anything back for us?
No.
No bottle of Beaujolais or a Veuve Clicquot bottle or anything like that?
You can buy a Veuve Clicquot here.
We can.
We've seen that with the girls in the VAFA pre-season cup. So, no, that's it.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Not it.
Great to have you back, Lenny.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Always good fun. I just want to send a quick cheerio to Wayne Dyer, the former president of Collegians, who's going through a few health issues at the moment. Good luck, Wayne, with that in the coming weeks. And great to see the Panthers. That's Old Kerry have another win on the weekend. We'll be back with more Tragics this time next week. See you then.